Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Oh No Radio Show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, fuck, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Oh my God, we have a new champion!
Boys are back in town. A little bit of Gumption Junction back in the atmosphere, and it felt oh so appropriate as tonight is our 200th episode, by the way, of the Oh No Wrestling podcast.
Wow.
200, baby. 200. A lot of podcasts don't even make it past 30. You know, we stick around. We're the diehards. We are Gumption Junction. We have the gumption to keep on moving.
We just keep going. We ebb and flow, just like water. We got that gumption.
Absolutely.
We'll take you down if you're standing in our way, or we'll take you with us if you want to roll.
And thank you for joining the Ono Wrestling Podcast on this illustrious week. My name is Owen. I am your predictions champion and your shark break kid. But along with me, of course, tonight is the one and only modern day Maharaja, baby.
Yeah.
Doing all right, Matthew?
Yeah.
You got a wedding to go to this week.
I know, and it's not Rhea and Dom's.
Are you gonna be? I'm hoping that there's gonna be some wrestling shenanigans at this wedding. I'm hoping that there'll be a title belt exchanged hands. I'm hoping that maybe you'll get your own entrance theme. Maybe the bride will get her own entrance theme, and maybe you can cut some promos at the wedding for us, because our good friend Heather, your lovely sister, she's getting married. Yep. I wanted to just throw it out there to congratulate her and say congratulations.
Congrats to her. And she is a wrestling fan too. She came down to Wrestlemania 33 with us, and she keeps she doesn't watch it, as religiously as we do, but she definitely keeps up with
She's a good sister. She's a good sister. She's one of the crew. She's part of the excellence at the end of the day.
She is part of the excellence. So appreciate that. And I will pass it along, and there will be some promos. Gumption Junction will be represented. You best believe it.
Absolutely. I'm happy for that. Now, when it comes to this episode, Matthew, it's all over the place. You've seen my notes. You've seen what I've got kind of off the top of my head here, but it's kind of all over the place because there's so much to discuss, but not necessarily all in the context of, we're going to talk about just AEW here for a segment or WWE for a segment. We're going to kind of mix it up and shake it up and kind of go off the top of our heads. Now, when I say that, one of the first things that I want to acknowledge and one of the first things I need to address is that, man, there's going to be some change-ups here coming soon in the Ono Wrestling universe. And that all is involved with our predictions sort of rankings. We've been talking this for a while, right? We've been talking about doing some things that involve the fans to get them involved in the prediction sphere. Now, this is where I need your opinions. I need the listeners' opinions to see how we go forward through this. But I think the easiest thing to do is to we're going to be opening it up. It's not just going to be those of us on the podcast that are going to be able to make predictions. No, you out there, listeners, you can be able to make your predictions as well. And so we're going to set, we're going to set dates on, like say we've got a pay-per-view on Sunday. Well, by Thursday evening or Friday evening, we're going to set this definitively as time goes on. You will have to have your submissions, your predictions submitted in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Oh No Wrestling. And I think that's how we're going to do it. We're going to also do it by a system of the furthest person. You're going to get points knocked off the later in the week that you submit it. So the sooner that you submit it, you're going to probably get a point. You're going to get a point for every day. Now, I haven't figured out all these rules, but I wanted to let the audience know. This is what's coming. We want you out there to be a part of our prediction. I'm putting my belt on the line, Matthew. I'm because I'm such a good champion, I can't lose this thing. I figured we got to give someone else an open challenge.
You lost it for 24 hours.
24 hours, but I mean, I got it right back, and I got it back with style, and so we're gonna be doing the same rules as far as before. Like the champion will have the advantage, of course. The champion, if there is a tie at the end of the evening, well, I'm sorry, but the champion will retain the belts, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I've heard Scotty wants to get involved. I heard Kyle Deuce wants to get involved. A lot of our listeners. So I want to make it a thing on pay-per-view weeks that we're going to set up a post. We're going to throw these in, and everybody can be involved in the predictions championship for Oh No Wrestling. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I like it. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be some intricacies that'll need to be worked out depending on how many people there are and it plays out. But, I think you've got a good, plan right now, especially with the awarding of points earlier on, because people are going to have similar picks, if not the same picks. I mean, we've done it before multiple times. So, I like that. If it's earlier in the week, you maybe get a little bit more credit for that. If people do it in the same day, maybe you get half points if it's like early, like first half of the day versus the second half of the day or something like that. And then, it's obviously time stamped. You can see where people, are putting it. So you can't edit it post that, it would be able to be seen. So you go off the latest date that it was modified, right? Or created.
Absolutely. And I think another part of this too is the fact that I do think it's going to be a new era for Oh No Wrestling, because I really want, as much as it's great, of course, us talking about wrestling, just the two of us together, and it's the best when it is kind of us and sometimes even Duncan. But Duncan has his own, life going on, and he's not always able to make it. But I think we're going to start really kind of delving into getting some revolving guests on this show. We've had Double J Jansen, which was great.
Double J Jansen, yeah.
Again, our friend Scotty wants to be involved. We're going to have some more people involved, maybe not every week, but say like once or twice a month, here and there, right? Yeah. Whenever they can do it, that we're going to be having.
Maybe do a little more bonus content with maybe, Mikey Be Awesome. Do a couple more reviews of some matches. Maybe you're involved this time, and that
absolutely. Sort of thing. So we just got big plans for you, in the Oh No Wrestling universe, the Oh No universe, and of course for everything extra bonus content, you can check that out at patreon.com/ONRS. Whew, well, that's all the plugs really out the way that I needed to get done. But go ahead.
Are you gonna? Do you have a new version of your belt that or am I supposed to be? Was I supposed to get that done and give it to you?
I thought you were shipping me a new
200.
A new 200 title. I would kind of like a new 200 title, but let's go ahead and talk about that since we're on the topic of it. We've had a couple new belts lately, in the WWE, and one was just kind of like drawn out of thin air. And then one was awarded, of course, this past week to Roman on SmackDown, and by Triple H, which I guess signifies the official unification of the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. It is now the WWE Unified Universal Champ. I don't know what the hell they're calling it. But your first thoughts on this belt?
I think it's fine for what it is.
It's exactly what we thought it was going to be, isn't it?
I mean, when I saw reports that there was going to be a new belt, I was like, it's just kind of going to be a combination of both or something, which it is. I never liked those other two belts really that much. So
the big W's,
but I mean,
right? They're just big.
I mean, I guess it's kind of better than just the red and blue and him carrying around too. So I'm fine with it. I'm not hating on it as much as I've seen other people. I think it would have been, I don't know. We'd have to be living in that timeline for me to really say, but I think that had it been a completely full new rebranded type thing, I think I wouldn't have liked that as much.
Really? So I think I would have, honestly. I thought it was time to completely redo it. I can see why they didn't. We've talked about it for years, right? Like they're never going to stray away from having the belt that's the company logo front and center, right? Like that's the big why that belt exists. Why it's the face of the company type deal. But I would have been really, really happy if they kind of did go away from that. And I don't know, it just this like maybe change the shape or something different. Like I don't hate the new belt, but I'm underwhelmed. What about you? Same?
Like I'm not really underwhelmed. I'm just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I think if they had done a completely different, I think that would have been too weird to have two of them do that at the same time.
I get that point.
And like, how does it kind of pay lineage to what he's doing? Like, you can't just completely revamp it for like, it has to hold the semblance of like the meaning of his 1,000 days, which are those belts. But,
Okay, so this one is more. I'm happy that it's not a gaudy strap, right? Like we're getting away now. It seems like now we will officially be rid of the blue or red universal strap. Like that seems like that.
But this means the draft's over.
Yeah, good point. Good point. But now we're back. It's a similar design with just a bit more gold into it than like the original just WWE Championship. Like it doesn't really seem that much different to me.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm fine with it. And I get where people are coming from, and I get where you're coming from, where it's like you would have, and I don't know. I just think because we just got something completely brand new, like there was no chance that this was ever going to be and like plus also we hadn't even really been talking about it for very long, even that like there was possibility of there being a new one.
Well,
I do like how Roman, when he stood in the ring too, like Triple H is kind of explaining, and he's like, "Oh, there's a belt under there." He's like looking, he's like, "Oh, no, there's gonna be you got me." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking obvious, guys." Like, you ever watch wrestling?
But I kind of like the way that Roman played it. To be honest with you, I thought
Roman is so good,
he's
dude.
So good.
And even at the end, like, so now he's gonna apparently in that movie with Malachi Black, they're it's a buddy movie. It's kind of like a Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg thing.
There's a wait, what?
So Roman Reigns and Malachi Black are both have an acting gig in some movie coming out.
The same movie.
Yeah, the same movie.
What? I don't know anything about this. I haven't heard anything about this.
Oh, really? It's just, well, it just came out in the past day or two, I think.
Here, wow, I must have missed it.
You want to know? Here, I'll tell you what movie it is.
Malachi Black and Roman in the same movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. I dig that. Let me tell you what I would have done while you're looking that up. Well, what I would have done with that design of that belt, since we have already had, like I talked about, those gaudy ass straps in the past, right? With the red universal and the blue, I would have just straight up made the strap gold. I would have made the whole thing a golden celebration of gaudiness, like just gold the fuck out of it because it's 1,000 days. Like, I think that it would have warranted that. And you can always change the strap back later to a black strap, and later down the line when Roman. But I think for Roman having this thing that is just literally nothing but gold, I thought that would have and I think it's kind of what they're going for. But I would have made the whole strap just straight up gold, just straight gold, the motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It would actually be kind of cool the way I'm picturing it in my head.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I think it would look cool.
Yeah. So they're both set to appear in a movie named Action Force: The Divide.
Okay,
so
that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So it's in pre-production, according to the IMDb page. So, but yeah, they're both gonna be in the movie together.
Okay. So apart from the reveal, now I didn't get a chance to see all of that SmackDown episode, but I did find it interesting because Heyman later on, like while Roman is still wearing the belt, he's got the new belt, he's wearing it, but Heyman was still carrying the other two. So what the fuck's that all about? Is Heyman going to keep carrying those two?
No, he had to take them somewhere. You can't just leave them in the ring.
I guess. So it was in the same segment, right? Like I didn't watch it in chronological order, so I
and to go back to Roman Reigns' acting too, I do get sucked into these segments when they do the things where like you actually like hear them talking and they frame it, to like as they're walking out and such. And they're still part of the story. Like you as the audience at home are getting actually more because you're hearing what he's actually saying. This time it was, Heyman holding those belts, following him, saying, "What are we going to do about Jay? What are we going to do about Jay?" And he's like, "What about him? What about him?" And then Roman like stops, and it was just so perfectly shot for him to like turn and like look back at the ring and then just kind of like turn back and be like, he'll do what he always does. He'll fall in line. He'll fall in line and like, I think, just keep walking out.
I think that's interesting too. It definitely goes into this, like what I wanted to talk about with, of course, like the furthering of this bloodline, dissension, right? That's been happening. We've now got Jimmy in the place where he's, very like, fuck you, Roman. Like, you're a dickhead. Jay is still like, Jimmy, what are you doing? Like he's still on the, and now you had the situation where Solo had to make his choice, and he did for a second. That
whole thing was great.
It was great.
Even with Roman when he hugged and then he changed and his mind was like, no. It was all good.
Yeah, all of it was brilliant.
Both of them flipping, him and Solo, so good.
So now you obviously had like Solo initially join the Usos, but not really. Samoa and Spike to Jimmy, and like the moving on of how all this kind of like bubbles for you. So obviously we're definitely going to get an Usos versus Roman Solo match, right? Like a tag match. I assume that that's going to be happening soon. But I do still think that Solo, I mean, let's not forget, it is their brother. I think that Solo does eventually say, fuck you, Roman, and joins the other side. Where does this leave us? Do we get a 4-way? Because that could be awesome. A 4-way between all 4 of the bloodline, essentially. Like, I think that might be the way it's going. Do we get, is it a Jimmy is now, because we had main event Jey Uso. We never got main event Jimmy. And Jimmy's really coming out as like a big deal right now. I think they might even be moving towards a Roman Jimmy Solos match. Does that then lead to the 3-way with a Jay Jimmy? Or again, like I said, the 4-way with Solo involved as well? Because I think that's probably what they're going to end up having to do. No?
I just can't see them doing that, like, and breaking the whole family apart.
It has to happen though. The family needs to break apart.
I don't think the entire family breaks apart. There is something with the brothers that is going to carry on. I think
you can do Usos in a 4-way match, but have the two Usos still aligned. And I do think that you can eventually then have Solo align with the Usos. I would have Solo align with the Usos. I would. He's not ready to be, like, on his own. He's not ready to be solo. He's just not. He needs to be with somebody. He needs to be their enforcer when they're back as a tag team and this bloodline thing is gone. But it's basically, it's just them with him as kind of like a, hard ass on the side of the ring, like a third member of the Usos. Roman will be going away when this title drops. Mark my word.
They're saying now they want to turn him into like superhero babyface.
Well, I think that he has to go away for a while to do that. Or you need a really good double turn. You need something, because Roman ain't going to be a face for a while unless you try hard at it. Like that, like you have to turn, like at this point, you have to turn all of the rest of the bloodline heel, which they're not. Solo's not, he can't do it on his own to turn Roman face, or your only other option for turning Roman face is to turn Cody heel, and that is a terrible move. Don't do that. That's the only other option. Unless we go back to Brock. No one wants that.
I mean, they'll run it back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
They'll run it back. I was laughing earlier because I was thinking about what you said last week or maybe the week before, and bring it back to Heyman carrying those belts. I still get images of him trying to carry the tag team titles with the other belts.
Oh yeah, it's I do want all of them. Yeah.
Just like a bumbling like idiot.
You bumbling fat Jew, pick up my shit.
Yeah,
God damn it.
He keeps, every time he picks a new one up, another one drops.
Yeah. We've all been there when we're like picking up laundry and we pick up that sock that fell out, and then like 8 more. Yeah. Oh yeah, it happens. I want to see that. But I part of me though, really, I think that an Uso does need to be the one. I think I've decided that with this storyline of the bloodline has been so great, and with Roman, I think it would be a disservice to them if it was Cody or someone else to beat Roman. I think it actually has to be Jimmy or Jay to win that belt, and that's my personal thing. I think it probably should be Jay in the end that does it. And I think it has to be like, even you can do it through nefarious means with Jimmy. You can have the two of them, like something happens there. But I still think Jay needs to earn that 1, 2, 3 on Roman. Maybe you do that in the tag match. It's that 1, 2, 3 that we wanted Sammy to have on Roman, right? At the, like, instead of it being, on Solo, we wanted it really to have Sammy pin Roman, like to kind of give that story finality. I think you almost need to do the same thing with Jay. And it might not necessarily be for the world title or whatever, but whatever it is, Jay needs to get his comeuppance still on Roman Reigns, and he needs to pin him 1, 2, 3. Because he hasn't had that. I bet
that tag match will be SummerSlam.
That's probably what they're going to do. Roman's apparently not going to be booked on a lot of, like someone found his schedule. And post SummerSlam, he has no dates booked. So is he losing the title at SummerSlam is what a lot of people have theorized. But it's that could just be as far as they've booked, and they've, they don't know yet. Like, they could be that. Anyway, it's fascinating. It was good stuff.
He could lose it at SummerSlam, show up during the Rumble, that's how you could make him, because people will cheer if he's gone that long, shows up, and then he has kind of like a different attitude.
Dude, have him lose it, and then it's Cody and Roman as the final two in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then one of them wins it by that point, and then that becomes the WrestleMania match. Like, yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. You've got Gunther as your backup.
But then who has that title at that time?
Who has that title? Jey Uso. I mean,
I don't think that's
Sami
I'd like it
Zayn.
to happen. I just don't think that's happening.
Maybe Sammy beats Jay or something like that. That's a built-in storyline. Then you got then you also have
over that one.
Well, then you also have Money in the Bank, which we're shaping up to right now, right? They had a couple of the preliminary matches. I haven't seen
on LA Knight.
Well, see, LA Knight, dude, like he won the match against Ricochet, I think it was. Yes.
It was it Ricochet?
Might be. Was it? I'd have to. I'm brain farting. But either way, I know that LA Knight definitely got through to the next stage. Right? He's in the semifinals, I think it was. Like now, it'd be him versus someone, and then there'll be a final at the. I think is that I don't know.
No, I know he's in Money. So
he's just in it now.
It's just a qualifying match.
It was a qualifying. So now he's in.
So he's in it. Yeah. Who else has won?
Did Shinsuke win? Did he get in?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he did too.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great. But yeah, the crowd support from everything I saw online. Like, I saw some fan video stuff of when LA Knight won that qualifying match and of his entrance. And it's astounding, man. Like, they're dumb if they don't do something with this.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're ever going to see him as the top guy, though. Because I don't see him as the top guy. I love him, and I think he'd be an amazing Universal Champion. Or sorry, an amazing Intercontinental Champion if Gunther didn't have it. He'd be an amazing U.S. Champion. He's a mid-card. I don't think I ever see him as a top guy. Can you? Can you see LA Knight as actually the top guy? I can't.
No, I can't.
He's going to be upper, mid-card. Yeah. And that's what he's going to win belts, and that's fine. But I love it, but that's why I don't really see him winning Money in the Bank, because he's not going to be an actual threat if he does win it, which makes Money in the Bank boring. It's like when Theory won it this past time, right? Theory won it, and we knew that all he could challenge for realistically was a mid-card belt, which he's not going to do, or Roman Reigns. And guess what he didn't do? He fucking failed, right? He didn't beat Roman Reigns with his, he lost. Yeah. So it was entirely too predictable, because we knew he was not the guy to take that belt off of Roman Reigns. Or whatever it was.
So here's who we have.
So I feel the same way with LA Knight. Like, it's not going to work. You almost need to put that on, I hate to say this, but you almost have to put it on Sammy or Cody. Those are the two that you can theoretically do.
Did you say Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Sammy or Cody that you have to kind of put that on, but I don't think they're going that route with Cody, because it's not.
No, they're going to do him in
story.
Lesnar.
So now we got LA Knight and Sami Zayn. I don't know that they're going to do it with Sami Zayn. So who are we doing? Who are we building now?
So do you want to? So Ricochet beat The Miz to get a spot. Shinsuke Nakamura beat Bronson Reed to get a spot.
See, that's interesting, because I would have, booking wise, I would have thought they would have gone with Bronson Reed over Shinsuke.
And LA Knight beat Montez Ford.
Yeah.
So future matches. So here's who else.
LA, Shinsuke, and
Ricochet
are in.
Yep, they're in. And here's who could possibly be on. We have Butch versus Baron Corbin, Santos Escobar versus Mustafa Ali, and
Baron. Okay, hang on. Slow down. Butch, Baron Corbin. That's the first one. Baron Corbin just started a program in NXT.
Yeah.
It would make zero sense if Butch doesn't win that one then.
How WWE books things and does things with zero sense in my
Okay, but I would assume that because Baron Corbin is doing stuff down in NXT.
So is Mustafa Ali.
So now Mustafa Ali is against who?
Santos Escobar.
Escobar deserves a push. That's a decent guy to put it on, but he's okay. Hear me out here. Hang on. So there was another one, right?
Well, it's not confirmed, but there's the rumor is Matt Riddle versus someone.
Matt Riddle. Okay. So Riddle with the briefcase would make sense because they can do prop stuff with fucking Riddle in a briefcase. Like that's probably where, that's probably where they're going to go. Where they should go is probably Santos Escobar. But the thing with Santos Escobar is that, okay, why did they turn Santos Escobar face just to join the LWL? Oh, because he's Hispanic. Fucking stupid. You made him join a face faction because he's Latin. We need the Money in the Bank briefcase. Always works better in the hands of a heel. Just makes more sense. So, out of all those people, LA Knight,
going to be LA Knight.
LA Knight might actually stand a chance here.
I think so. And you know what? The more I think about this, I think that because, like we just said, we don't know how they. I guess, we're not quite sure, if he's main event material, but this could be a good litmus test, which is maybe what they're going to do, and see if his personality and charisma with booked on a card with something like that, how well he can do and I think it's up to how they book him and how well his charisma goes. That maybe he proves us wrong.
Okay. Hear me out here. Seth Rollins just won a new belt. Seth Rollins is at the most popular he's probably ever been as a solo act in the company. I still don't get the gimmick. I still don't like the gimmick, but it's over. And people love singing that song, and he is a very good in-ring worker and deserves, for his work, that belt and to be the first holder of this new championship. But his shtick, correct me if I'm wrong. If you think I'm crazy, let me know.
I'm fine with this shtick.
But I think his shtick will reach a limit with people where it will get old. And he will be annoying as fuck again because Seth Rollins is an annoying performer. It is at that time you have a cheeky cash-in by someone like an LA Knight who is over as shit to take it off Seth in 4 months. Somewhere around there.
Can you go after any title?
And he's a transitional champion. He gets the one belt, and then someone
he'd be taking that title to.
But now you can build a new face to take it off of LA Knight and have brand new program. We need brand new programs. We don't need Seth in the title. I understand
but he's listed as the number 1 or 2 heel on the SmackDown roster apparently. And if rosters mean anything, you can't then have a heel then take that over and have a heel with the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown.
It's a Money in the Bank briefcase, bro. He's cashing in. He can cash it in on either one of them. Cash it on any belt.
I know, but
so
I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter the roster.
I'm just saying, if you're going with what they are saying, it doesn't make any sense if you have 2 heels with the titles on the same show, based off the same show. I think they're going to put him in a program.
He's not going to take it from Roman. He's not going to take it from Roman. He's not.
But Roman only needs to. He just needs people to squash after he does a SummerSlam. He's going to have 1 or 2 more matches before fucking Mania next year. You need to have people that he can squash.
I hope that's not the case.
They did it last year with him.
Yeah.
He wrestled 7 matches.
Yeah. What do you feel about the James Bond packaging that they've done with the Money in the Bank? Because I love it. As a Brit, and it's just I always like a good WWE trailer.
I have not even noticed it.
Oh no! So they're So it's their first time, of course, like going back over a big pay-per-view in years and years, right? With Money in the Bank. And they have a trailer for this year's Money in the Bank that they showed it, I think, on the Saudi pay-per-view, and they've been showing it in between or whatever, on Peacock, all that. But it's done in the style of, basically James Bond. Like, ding, 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 like it's got a rip-off James Bond like type like theme behind it. It's all spy related. They've got a sexy British spy to tell you the objective is to get to the top of the ladder and get the,
how
briefcase.
have I not seen this? Maybe I've seen it. It just never registered.
It's
I don't know.
It's really good branding, and I hope they do more with it within the pay-per-view itself, right? Like, because this is, we've often complained that WWE pay-per-views all feel the same and they're just like standardized. We wish they brought back sets, and this is such an opportunity for them to really I'm sure they won't with a set or anything really, but they'll make it feel big. And if they make it feel big with the James Bond-ish spy branding, they're onto something here. Whoever thought of that, it's like, okay, this isn't just Vengeance Day. You actually have made Money in the Bank feel somewhat important, and it was proof that they actually had a qualifying tournament to get in the Money in the Bank. They're treating it in a much better light. LA Knight does not get like this chance if the fans aren't over for him, right? Like, so this is almost fan service on a multitude of levels, and I think it's awesome that they're doing it. I also think that Seth Rollins is the right person to hold that belt, but won't be holding that belt for long. I don't think, because I don't think you want to do that if Roman is holding that belt until next WrestleMania. Then that belt needs to change hands. They're going to do what they did with the original Universal belt, because this belt has no lineage. They have not claimed any lineage to it. It's a brand new belt, like the Universal title. Starts fresh with Seth Rollins at number 1, right? So what did they do with the Universal title? They basically had that belt change hands fucking 6 or 7 times in 2 years. Quick reigns on everyone to build a lineage that they can work off of. They're going to do exactly the same with this one, in my opinion. That was something that the Universal title was almost a Triple H product. Remember how he handed things over. Remember how there's a lot of Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and the Universal title until like that debacle. Like the Universal title, KO, right? Like all Triple H guys. It was a secondary title at the beginning until Roman won it. Then they almost switched the two as far as importance. But the WWE Championship has the lineage. The one that now Roman has combined the Universal Championship's lineage with that one. So now they're one. Unless you just won the Universal title. So it's a separate thing. What they're going to do with this one is basically build it as quick as they can and as many changes and try and make it get to that level where it feels as important as the other one.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to give him a longer run. I mean, not saying like a full year or anything, but at least half a year to 3/4 of a year, because they've been wanting to have longer title reigns, and I think it cheapens even more. And I think they would know it cheapens it even more if they just hot potato it real quick. Because who are they? Look who you have on that brand to do it. Like, it's just, I think Seth Rollins with where he's at, and
Cody has to be the one to take it off Roman. He has to. Like, that's the story now. Like if it's not one of the Usos, if it's not Jay or Jimmy, it has to be Cody. You can say Seth.
I don't know when you do it, though. I'm not saying it's Seth. I just don't know when you do that because, rumor is they're talking about Gunther Cody for Mania next year.
Let me change things up a little bit here. I wanted to talk about a podcast I've listened to this past week. I've been seeing a lot of buzz about it online, and I guess it's a pretty popular podcast, and they happen to do a series on Vince McMahon. The show's called Behind the Bastards, and they talk about like the worst people in history, right? I mean, like part of the show description is like, yeah, I was a kid that grew up watching fucking Hitler documentaries, and so I grew up watching like the worst people in history, became fascinated by them, and I basically go behind these, dictators and like awful people throughout history, and I do a report, and it's really
Hitler, Vince McMahon.
right. Well, so it's a well-produced podcast, and they're well into it, got a huge fan base, but most of these, like he's for instance, like Henry Kissinger was 4 hour-long episodes, and Saddam Hussein was 2. Vince McMahon was 6. So he was surprised at just like, he's like, like any casual fan, he knows Vince is probably not a good guy. He knows of him, but then the digging starts, like as an actual kind of journalist.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, like this was a long one for him to, produce and make, and it's in 6 series, and they go deep, and he's like, I encourage anybody. I thought I knew everything about Vince, right? This is a deep dive into several books, because he's done the research, reading a bunch of books. It's that plus his own journalism, plus like his own sleuthing, and like everything combined, and it's a very comprehensive lesson on who the fuck Vince McMahon and even just early wrestling was, and how he came to prominence, and what he is, and what. Let's never forget, Vince loves to pretend that he was a poor boy, that he grew up in a trailer. That happened, but it was a very small period of his life. Vince is a rich kid.
Yeah, that doesn't sell.
Vince is a rich kid. Okay? Like, so, and Vince is, they take you through these things on this podcast of just about how much of a habitual liar he is. He loves, by the way, loves to steal cars. Vince McMahon thinks stealing cars is like the coolest thing that you can do. Like, cool. Like, he likes to brag that when he was in his youth, he used to like maybe steal a car, and then, well, I wouldn't really steal it, but I'd, borrow it and bring it back.
It's like a Gone in 60 Seconds fan. He like watches that movie all the time.
There's certain things about Vince that you learn like throughout this whole thing. So one of the things I learned, when he was obsessed with his dad, like, because he grew up with a stepdad. He didn't know Vincent McMahon Sr. He didn't know Sr. until he was like 13, 14, 15, right? So
yeah,
he went a long period because this guy was on the road, but then he became infatuated with him and the wrestling industry. But he then, like, he wanted to become a wrestler. His dad wouldn't let him. But then Vince, who's seeing his dad, what he's doing with this promotion, the WWF, he actually starts a small, did you know this? He started a small promotion in his high school.
No.
So he starts a small promotion, and he's like, it's all high school kids wrestling. But Vince, like, he's the promoter, booker, everything, but he's also wrestling on the show. Did you know his first wrestling name? This is new to me. I never knew this. I'd never heard this before, and this has been, I think, pretty accurately.
Prince Vince.
No. By this point, he was going by the last name.
Man McMahon.
All right, you're real close, because the last
Really?
name is McMahon. The last name is McMahon, and it is something Man McMahon.
Macho Man McMahon?
It's not. I mean, I like Madman McMahon is probably better than the one that he actually used. You want me to tell you?
Just give me the letter that the first one starts with. The first word.
A.
Assman McMahon.
Assman McMahon would be, I mean, that's what he should have gone with again. No. He was Ape Man McMahon.
Ape Man.
He was.
Please tell me he didn't do blackface.
Funny you should mention. He did not. He did not. But there's a couple of stories about this whole thing, because what I have also learned is that he often talks about like having to go to private school, like military school. Well, that happens to be the same year that his segregated high school turned into a desegregated or unsegregated high school. So the black kids came in and Vince had to be shipped off to military school. Just saying. That's just something that happened in the same year. Just saying. That's a thing. His mother also...
Was this before or after he had the name?
This would have been before, because he did that later with because that was in military school. So that was after.
The promotion was in military school?
Yeah. His mother, she sounds like she was he doesn't talk about his mom much. She had like 7 marriages or something crazy. Like she fucking bounced from dude to dude. She might have been a bit of a nutcase herself. But she also performed in a group. They dug some stuff up about her. Shit. There's a term now, and it's a very racist term, and it's like petty, shit. I should have. Children of slave kids type thing. Oh shit! One of my cameras is acting up. We're still good, I think.
I'm not quite sure what to Google without it.
Yeah, it's a tough
weird.
one. Hang on. One second here. I got to deal with multitude of things. But no, I looked this up the other day because I was intrigued. I'm like,
so
what?
It's young black children that.
There's a
slavery,
well, no, there's a pickaninny. You ever heard the term pickaninny?
Yeah. I've heard
yeah. So she was in a group that they called the Pickaninny Choir. This is Vince McMahon's mom. She was in a group called the Pickaninny Choir, and they supposedly used to do like community gigs and stuff. And would wear blackface whilst doing those gigs
for the community.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving back in horrible way.
I know. So that's a thing. That's a thing that
it was. And what's crazy is that the community was like accepting it much more back then.
Yeah.
Than they are now. Some people still do now, which is fucked up. But. I
had never actually heard that term. And it literally,
I never knew what it meant. I've just heard I've heard the term before.
According to Wikipedia, in the United States, it has other meanings around the world. Like it's kind of different, right? Like it means different things. But in America, like the United States, it says that in the southern United States, pickaninny was long used to refer to children of African slaves or later any dark-skinned African American. The term is now considered offensive in the U.S. The character Topsy in Harriet Beecher Stowe's 1852 anti-slavery novel Uncle Tom's Cabin became the basis for the popular caricature of the Pickaninny, described by scholar Debbie Olson as a coon character, untamed, genderless, with wide eyes, hair sticking up around the child's head, and often stuffing their mouths with watermelon or chicken. These characters were a popular feature of minstrel shows into the 20th century. So yeah, they considered them to be subhuman juveniles, is the easiest way I think I can put that. Subhuman juveniles.
So, not great.
Yeah. So Vince McMahon's mom was in a choir about that. Just throwing it out there that maybe, just maybe, there's some shit going on there. Just saying.
Yeah.
I also found out that through this back in the 1970s, I forget who it was now. I should have looked this up. But they were tightening down on things, or trying to, with like sports commissions and stuff with wrestling. And there was some like early, it's like, way earlier than Macho Man, like, and all that, but like a wrestling wedding back in the day. And they legally weren't allowed to do it. Like the buildings and like the commission had a thing that the wrestling couldn't have fake weddings. Still don't understand really, like trying to figure out why that was. They couldn't have a fake wedding. They weren't allowed. And I mean, I think they did it anyway, but there was, isn't that just weird though?
I mean, sign of the times, maybe, I guess, right?
Maybe. Yeah. And then I didn't know that Donald Trump helped fund WrestleMania 4. Do you know that?
That either.
I never knew this. So there's I guess it was a big deal. Like, yeah, Trump put a lot of money into WrestleMania 4 and helped WrestleMania 4 get off the ground. And apparently, I haven't seen it. We need to look this up at some point. But there is a whole commercial. It's like a 20-minute infomercial of Bobby Heenan going to stay at like the Trump Hotel. And he's like checking in, being rude to like the girl behind the counter. Like being Bobby Heenan just all over this place in the Trump Hotel, but it's like a long extended thing that they were obligated to do because Donald Trump was like sponsoring essentially, and Trump Towers and hotels or whatever it was a big deal with WrestleMania 4. And that's the start apparently of the McMahon Trump relationship. It goes back that far. I didn't ever really put that into perspective. I never really thought about that, but it does. Like, that's the start of their actual business relationship. And this podcast that also talks, about Trump a little bit in this says, some have claimed, and I think this is probably true, that without Trump's knowledge of how the wrestling industry worked, he wouldn't have been able to do what he did in politics. Because he used a lot of the, like him or hate him, he was just basically a pro wrestler as a politician. Like, I mean, and it's to this day. Like, that's half the reason that he got where he got, because he knew the tactics that he probably learned from one Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah, they probably taught each other a few tricks along the way.
You would think, right?
Yeah, this video is Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan explore Trump Plaza in Atlantic City. And it's about 23 minutes almost, and looks like there's a cameo maybe from Gladys Knight. The Hulkster Hulk Hogan changed for $50.
Oh yeah, they're trying to make this place look like it's the la creme de la creme, Like Trump wants people to think like this is the highest of opulence. This is the best you can get. And look at me, I'm advertising on WrestleMania, and I got it's not a bad publicity stunt. Like, if you did that today, it would actually probably work.
Yeah.
I want to go stay at that place. Look, Bobby Heenan was there. Or fucking, I
don't know if I want to go to Atlantic City, but yeah.
Still. Do we talk about how Darby Allin over there on AEW is trying to climb Mount Everest? Did we talk about that?
We briefly, I think, touched on it a few weeks ago when he went through the whole thing.
Now he's talking about how his goal is to get up there and put an AEW flag on the top of Mount Everest.
I hope he does a fucking coffin drop off the top of that fucker and just rolls down to his death.
I don't like the idea of like put a Darby Allin flag up there. Don't put come on.
Right. Yeah.
I could even see put a bullet
for yourself.
If the Bullet Club, one of the Bullet Club did it, right? We put a Bullet Club flag in there. Something like that was cooler. They'll put an AEW flag.
A little pillar.
It's a corporate organization, you anti-establishment fucking goth punk kid. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna put the corporate logo up there? All right.
On nature.
he's improved a lot in the ring and as a performer, so I don't want to knock him too much, but you're still a tool, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to kind of talk about this too. I wanted to get your thoughts on like what happens with each of the 4 pillars now post Double or Nothing.
I feel like they're all a bit fucked, aren't they?
I feel like that, and we've kind of saw on Dynamite this past week a little bit about so we had Darby Allin was teamed with
Cassidy.
Was he teamed with Cassidy? Yeah,
they're working together. Maybe it wasn't on this.
No, it was on Dynamite.
No. Yeah, because they've been working together a lot on the indies. They're putting together them as a tag team right now. They're doing something with that. Like there's not the they're not I say the indies. What I meant was they are doing house shows now. AEW are doing house shows, and that's one of the major, I think, headliners right now are Darby and Cassidy versus like tag team action versus I can't remember who it was. It might have been I can't remember. It was someone that unmemorable, like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's probably like the Kingdom or something like, you know.
I think it was the Kingdom, actually.
Probably like that.
I think it was the Kingdom, maybe. But yeah, that's probably actually okay for both of them because that means Orange Cassidy's going to lose that title, right? And then they have the tag team thing. It is time. So, and then they have the tag team thing. Darby does need something. I know Sting came back, but I don't know. You know, and then, but then we got Jungle Jack Perry came out with a chair. Now I forget what match it was. But I was just not excited for what he seems to be getting. I'm not excited for him in general in it coming out of any of this.
Jungle? No, like if we're talking about the 4 pillars, I feel like he comes out the worst. I feel like Darby comes out the best, Sammy's in the middle, and Jungle Boy comes out the worst. I still feel like, I mean, they missed the boat on that. They missed that turn, but they still can do it because of the way that audience reacted. That audience reacted like they wanted him to turn heel. They were booing him for doing the right thing. So, like, they didn't cheer. They booed him when he decided not to hit whoever it was, Darby. When he decided not to hit Darby with the belt, the crowd booed because they want him to turn heel. So the option is still there. That's how you do it. If anything, you have him, if nothing else, it's okay, let's put fucking Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy back together with Christian, and they finally got into him. You know, they finally, I don't know how, because they lose all their matches, Christian and Luchasaurus, but there is something there that we're all losers, but we were better together, and now we can be together on the dark side. I think there's a story you can tell. I would prefer that the direction that they're doing with Jungle Boy, because now we got to we just got to model him off of old school Christian and let him learn how to do a promo like Christian does, because he is the most, oh man, when he goes in and when he's nasty, he is the best. No one like him. If he can learn an ounce of that, he would be in a better place. And it's a more interesting place than I think that he is currently. I also think that you can do a lot more with what's going on with Wardlow and that TNT championship. I said before, why don't we team him up with somebody? I think that championship needs to be on someone else, not Wardlow. And Wardlow can be an attraction, especially in a tag team with a fledgling tag team division right now. Have him align with somebody. I would put him with Lance Archer right now. Have him and Lance Archer fucking run.
Have him and Lance Archer versus the Hardys, and then Jeff and Wardlow can have a swanton bomb contest.
Yes,
off
they
the
can
top
have
of ladders.
Yes, and then Lance Archer will get up there, and then he will try and do one and almost break his neck. And then he will get. Yes, we saw that live. He almost died one time. That was not a fun show. But then, like, moving forward with, of course, like, just news of the week and how it's been shaken up. Without news, I did see, of course, this past Dynamite, I saw, we as we were getting off air last week, we saw the reaction to CM Punk's announcement for Collision. And I think it's pretty safe to say it was extremely divided. I thought I would see a lot more press about this and a lot more just discourse about it. It seems like everyone is kind of just like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And, to me to a certain degree as well, right? Like, this is not surprising.
I know. And I get that, like, it is the start. It is that first new show. I mean, we saw it moved some tickets, but not a shit ton, right? But
it was 500 tickets.
But I know, but I think that a lot of people
the announcement of CM Punk.
I think a lot of people already assumed he was going to be there
in 24 hours. Moved 500 tickets. That's something, because everybody that already knew, they already bought them, right? Like, like those people.
But I think you missed, or if you wanted that pop, I think you missed that chance, like, for him to get that pop, because you've said it before and I've agreed with it. Like, you've got to turn him heel right after Chicago.
Got to. It's going to happen that night. It's going to happen that night. It has to. I think, like all of us, we're
just so unexcited for CM Punk.
Well, I'm just trepidatious. Is that the word? Trepidatious? I have trepidations about Collision, just as a whole concept. They got to really knock this one out of the park, or else I think this could fuck AEW hard. This could really make them look bad. So they gotta. Hopefully they have this one together. I don't know. We won't know until we see it. I'll say that for the first time in a long time this past week, I watched Rampage. And Rampage is a skippable thing these days, right? But did you watch any of this week's?
No, but I typically do end up watching it, like, on like Saturday mornings or something like that, or I just put it on. But I didn't watch it this week. I haven't watched it since before they went to Saturday nights, so that was like 6 weeks ago. So I haven't watched Rampage.
I had to clear out some of the DVR to make some room, so I deleted a bunch of old shit, but I kept that on there, so you should be good. Hopefully I didn't delete anything you really wanted to see further back, but I kind of deleted up until this week.
I've probably watched. If I don't watch it the week of, it's probably not happening.
Yeah, well, it's not worth it at that point.
I got a plan for the following week.
But no, like that. I'm sure you saw the card at least, right? It was an incredible card for this Rampage. So you had Commander, Dragolisto, and Vikingo in a triple threat for the AAA championship. So that opened the show. It felt very choreographed. It had some great spots, but it actually, like, I don't think Commander is there yet. Vikingo is too choreographed, but Dragolisto is the shit. That's my 2 cents coming around with, because he's more realistic. Yeah, the other two can do, I guess, more crazy flippy shit, and that's fun. But as far as like a realistic guy, Dragolisto all the way. That's the guy that they need to run more with him than the other two. And the other, like, Vikingo's not signed with the company anyway. Commander is, but I think Commander is, like, he needs to grow. Like, he's not there yet. Anyway, then I can't remember what order they came in. I know we had a Willow Nightingale Emi Sakamura match. Chick that used to do the fucking what's his name? I want to break free, Freddie Mercury gimmick. She had that. She's got a crown and shit. And Willow was defending
so an equally as bad gimmick.
Yeah, Willow. She's got I don't know. She's actually really. I like her.
Wait, is she the Ice Queen?
No, I don't think so. So. No, are you thinking about Lady Frost? There is a lady.
Yeah, that was it.
No. So Willow's got she's got the New Japan Strong Women's Championship that was probably supposed to be on Mercedes Moné until Mercedes fucked her
they've
ankle.
said that it was. It's not
Yeah.
like they made it just for her.
Yeah, exactly. So now Willow's got that, and so she defended it against Emmy, and it was a really fun match. And Willow is just, she might be my favorite wrestler. I'm not even kidding. Like, Willow Nightingale is, she's not bad in the ring, but she's not good in the ring. That's not why I like her. She's just awesome. Like, it's like a vibe thing. Like, it's I don't need the slickness of the move. I need the energy. I can tell, like when she comes out, it's this positivity thing, right? It's like a Big E positivity, right? Like, it's amazing, but she can turn it on, like, on a second, and she can get me fired up about spots that I'm not supposed to be that even fired. Like, I don't know what it is. Willow Nightingale's got it. Like, she has got it. I've said this about on this podcast about a couple different people. One of them I know for a fact was Bianca Belair. She had it. And look where that is. I'm telling you, Willow Nightingale is going to be top. She's going to be top.
I agree.
Give it 2 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Give it 2
her time.
years.
She will be
top.
Yep.
And I can't wait for it because she's something special. She's something special.
Dom just
I got a crush on her. So, yeah.
Sorry, Dom just bitch slapped Cody and then ran behind Rhea and is like talking shit behind her shoulders at him.
Oh, Dom bitch slapped Cody? What's Cody doing?
He ran up behind him and bitch
what's Cody doing with the Judgment Day? Talking to them.
They came out, it looks like, while Cody was on MITB.
Oh.
Did Cody really hurt his arm?
Probably.
He's got to stop getting hurt.
He's going to stop doing that if he's going to.
Yeah, if he's going to fucking finish
the story, brother. Stop getting hurt.
Come on, dude. We could have finished it by now.
Speaking of, like, getting hurt, man, every time I see Adam Cole in a ring, dude, I worry about him. Like, and I know that's part of the story they're telling in some of these matches, but he just looks small and weak and hesitant. Like,
he kind of, he doesn't look like he's lost some of his quickness for sure.
I feel like I could beat Cole up. like I feel like and that's, I don't know. I mean, probably not, obviously, but I shouldn't even have the inkling of that for a guy that they're trying to make into their top superstar, possibly, like, to challenge their world champion.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a good look. Like, I pull back hard on the Adam Cole project if I'm Tony Khan. Like, I understand what you were doing, but I pull back hard on that. I'm like, okay, you need to somehow be in a program with.
Turn him heel. Have him hit his wife. Have him girlfriend.
Yeah, we need to hold out for a little bit. I don't put a belt on him. You know, like,
no.
It's like, you know what? Next week, you know what you can do? You and your wife can come out with those belts that never showed up on TV once we gave them to you. Just bring your.
They're doing the Owen Hart tournament again coming up.
Exactly. Bring those out. Do that. But I'm not putting another belt on you. I don't feel comfortable. I tell you what, I think we talked about this a little bit last week, and maybe we can talk about this because I think it's definitely time for a break. I need to pee, but we will take a little bit of a break in a second. But maybe when we come back, I'd love to talk to you about how I feel they've turned the corner with Jay White.
I was just about to bring this up, man. I was about to say, because when you mentioned Willow and like getting behind someone, and you and I have been adamantly very vocal about not getting it and everything. And so I really wanted to talk to you. I know I put it in my notes that I want to talk to you when you get back.
Well, let's hold it.
I think I'm excited.
It'll lead us into talk of what kind of happened at Dominion, some of the things that I've heard with that, New Japan's last big show. I also want to talk a lot about Zack Sabre Jr. And I also have not necessarily a game, but more of just like a speculation project, if that makes sense, Matthew. I don't know how else to really put it, but I'm trying to figure out, doing my mathematical calculations, who is going to be on that All-In card. And I think it warrants speculation, and I kind of have some names, and we'll sort of talk about them and just try and figure out if, where you fall in line with what I'm putting down, and how we maybe even make matches out of them. So, we're going to get into some nerdy stuff for All In, maybe even a little bit, of course, for Forbidden Door, Zack Sabre Jr., and, of course, a little bit of Jay White? What? I know, it's happening. Bang, bang, gang, baby. Here we go.
Bang, bang.
What do we say when we get out of here, Matthew?